Some of you have asked how you can help us, while most of us would say, we want wine. Italian Wine Podcast is a publicly funded, sponsor-driven enterprise that needs the moolah. You can donate through Patreon or GoFundMe by heading to ItalianWinePodcast.com. We would appreciate it.
Oh, yeah.
Italian Wine Podcast, a Wine2wine Business Forum 2021 media partner, is proud to present a series of sessions highlighting the key themes and ideas from the two-day event held on October the 18th and 19th, 2021. This hybrid edition of the Business Forum was jam-packed with the most informed speakers discussing some of the hottest topics in the wine industry today. For more information, please visit wine2wine.net and tune in every Thursday at 2 p.m. Central European Time for more episodes recorded during this latest edition of Wine2Wine Business Forum.
My name is Summer Lee, and by my Korean name, I go by Sunmin, but you can all just call me Summer. And before we delve more into what's new in the Korean market, let us introduce a little bit about ourselves. And again, my name is Summer Lee, and I'm currently based in Seoul, South Korea. And I work for an English daily in Korea called Korea JoongAng Daily, and it's under the umbrella of the JoongAng Media Group, one of the largest in Korea. And then it actually is quite influential with the TV station, magazines, and the Korean Daily. And for that newspaper, I mostly cover news coming out of food and travel sector. So that brought me here. And who's sitting right next to me is Hong Dongmyung.
Yeah, my name is Hong Dongmyung. Just coming home, and I'm an importer. I'm the owner of the Vino company, which is import only Italian wine. So 100% Italian wine. I work with 60 wineries. Yeah, it's quite a lot from the 16 regions. Yeah, still 4 regions missing, but anyway, so it's the only company in South Korea which is specialized in Italian wine. So maybe I can tell you something today.
So we'll begin.
Actually, I'm also the Italian wine ambassador because I get the certification at the first edition, which was really, really difficult because the professor was the Ian Dakata at the time, so it was very hard. But anyway, yeah.
So let us begin to talk a little bit more about the Korean wine market. So I'm not sure how much all of you know about the wine market in Korea, but what I can say for now is that it is one of the vibrant markets in Asia for sure right now, especially and ironically with the COVID-19 situation, because the situation in Asia is a little bit different from Europe, as it seems like inter-country travel is possible here. But in Asia, the travel is still very difficult. So everyone is confined mostly in their own country unless they have very urgent business or personal matters to take care of. And you might not know what's changing in the Korean market so far. So we're here to talk a little bit more about it and so that you can be better prepared to distribute your wine in Korea. So let me go through the brief changes that we've seen with the COVID. So like I just said, the pandemic has definitely changed much everywhere, but one of the unexpected things was the change of consumer behavior in Korea. So first of all, those who drink a lot of wine used to go overseas to buy wines and bring back. And they were the ones kind of trying small shops countryside overseas that don't even have their stock items online. So what they did is they usually just travel to buy wines overseas, but they can't do that anymore unless they have already developed some network with the local shops overseas. So what they do now is buy more wine from local shops in Korea. So they're the ones that relatively know more about their taste in wine and have all the wine knowledge. And they most likely have a buying power with thicker wallets. So they spend a little bit more on each bottle. And they know the quality that comes with the premium wines. So these ones buy all the expensive wines available in Korea right now. And there are some who go for the super budget wine. because people can go out as much to restaurants anymore or in Korea, even if they can. Some people just refrain from going anywhere that's crowded. So they get most of their meals at home. So either with food delivered or food they cooked. And for some special night, they want to make their dining table a little bit different. And the best tool that makes it look different is a bottle of wine on the table or just the glasses filled with wine. So they start with something very affordable because it is not exactly for drinking, but more for setting the mood. But that happens more regularly, like once every month or two over a course of the year last year with the COVID. And they're getting actually more used to making drinking wine as part of their daily routine. So plus it looks fancier. Since it has not been that long since people in Korea picked up the habit of wine drinking, people still take wine as something more fancy and luxurious for sure. So when they want to make their life look somewhat fancier than their usual days, they usually go for wine, not beer or not soju. Soju is the distilled alcohol that everyone drinks on a daily basis in Korea. So beer and soju are more like an everyday drink. Well, wine is everyday drink here in Europe, but in Korea it still isn't. And one thing I briefly want to add on before we move on is that actually results in getting the attention of younger generation. So we'll definitely go deeper about this issue later today in Hong's session. But the youngsters who started drinking alcoholic beverages with beer and soju now pay more attention to wine as they drink more. And they mainly go to convenience store or supermarket to buy some super budget wine for less than like 7 euros per bottle. And sometimes they splurge a little bit onto something that's about like 30 euros tops. And like I said, wine still carries that image of something expensive and something fancy among many average Koreans. So many importers in Korea have been trying to discover more wine that's cheaper, but still good quality, so that they can bring non-wine drinking population into the world of wine drinking. And that's a little overview about how things are changing with the COVID. And this is some photos
this
I
is some
prepared.
pictures, maybe mainly from the Instagram. As Summer said, wine is not the everyday drink, so people really want to show how they drink wine at home usually. Yeah, so this kind of cheese and some ham, charcuterie is not the typical Korean food, but they try to show that. Also, some very high the luxurious bottled wine, just drink at home, like that, and then looks very fancy. It's really Korean cultures, and some barolo is there, which I imported. Also, just open at home. This is what we the way what we drink. Yeah.
So, like you can see, it's not the matter of what wine you drink. The image of glasses filled with wine on the table, that's what matters. And then people share it online, and then they kind of want to brag to others. And then this is what I do at home. My dinner is a little bit different than yours. That's what they're going for.
Yeah. So during the COVID-19, so it's the wine sales went up a lot. So we sell a lot of wines. So also plus wine glasses and also wine accessories. Yeah, because the how to show is really important. So people buy these kind of things together. Also the cheese and charcuteries and some packages. Yeah, so someone can tell you some details.
Yes, so one of the largest retails in Korea, Lotte Mart, saw about 83.4% increase in its wine sales in 2020 compared to the sales in 2019, that's before COVID. And another large retailer, Shinsegae department store, also saw about 41% increase in wine sales. And another Hyundai department store saw about 26% increase. And like I said, small convenience stores in every corner of the street in Korea saw jump in sales as well, and especially with the budget wines. And one of the largest, 7-Eleven, saw about 31% increase of the bottles that are less than 7 euros. And more wine sales contributed in making more sales of wine accessories, of course. The sales of wine glasses went up by 43% at the same Mart, Lotte Mart, and cheese sales went up by 27%, and the beef jerky, the security items, by like 20%. So because now more wines are sold in Korea, some resilient wine importers like Hong himself acted fast to import more wines because it sells very well. So Korea saw the largest amount of wine import last year, and that actually pushed beer down to the second place. And it is expected to see even bigger numbers this year. And we're going to take a look at some graphs here. So here, the blue is the imports of beer to Korea, and the orange one is the wine. And you can see that the number for wine is obviously going out while the beer is falling. And then you can actually take a little bit details with the numbers here. So from January to August this year, the amount of imports has already gone up 96.5% from the same time last year. That's already almost doubled. And it already went way over total amount of the imports marked for last year. And the total imports of wine is about 2.5 times more than the imports of beer from January to August this year. And all the industry experts in Korea are actually really shocked to see such numbers, as until 2019, the top position was always filled by beer.
Yeah.
So with these numbers, we kind of like put together the what's been different in the past 2 years tops. We chose about like 5 different distinctive wine trends, and then he's gonna go over.
Yeah, because it changes so fast, and then we just catch it, these things. And the first one, so many wine shops in every corner and in every street, because the online commerce is still restricted, so people should go to the store. So there is too much because of the restriction for the e-commerce. So big company couldn't sell by online, but the small wine shop in the outside of town is they do sometimes. So
so surprisingly, Korea is very well connected in online community, but still buying online is not possible in Korea. It's still restricted for many different regions. So for the consumers, it's easier for them to just go to the shops right next corner instead of going all the way to the supermarket that carries a lot of things. So a lot of people see the opportunities, and there are more shops coming up.
Yeah, correct. And then the natural wine is still very popular. Yeah, it's quite steady, and they keep steady increasing. And then especially young people, they still like their natural wine. So natural wine bar or just wine shop for only natural wine looks more hip or something new. So it's also very particular, I think. Then some celebrity, very famous. Maybe you have heard about the BTS, the boy group.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, when they drink some wine from market, it's like a very very cheap Sangiovese Montepulciano from the Umani Ronki. Yeah, very Beijing level. They drink on their YouTube, and then it's immediately sold out, and then it's one of the most famous Italian wine in South Korea because BTS drank that wine. So I tasted, no more, no comment. Okay.
But it's just gets trendy viral
It's
online.
trendy because this is BTS wine, something like that. And also some restaurant and bistro. We should order the wine because it's new culture during the COVID-19. So they suffered a lot. Yeah, because nobody go to the restaurant, bistro, and delivery or just serve the food is not enough. So when we go to the restaurant, some restaurant they push to the order the wine. So it's the one of the trends. So we'll talk about more. And then more people make some. It's like a direct purchasing. Yeah, so just directly order to the winery. Some Korean people. So some of my partners, like barista or bar producer, they receive a lot of mail from Korean people. Can I order the Barolo directly? Something like that. But it's impossible But some winery do that, and some wine shop they deliver directly. So it's quite also popular trend, I think.
So we're gonna go over these 5 trends in more detail from now. And we'll talk a little bit more about who opens all those wine shops. So wine importers here kind of joke that there's like 5 different wine shops overnight almost every day. So basically, there are not that many wine experts in Korea anymore. So who opens these wine shops? They're just the wine lovers. So they just used to go to the shops, but then they realize that they can, if they own a shop, they can actually drink more wine at a cheaper, like a wholesale price. So they're like, okay, I'll just open a shop, and then if the sales doesn't make it, I'll just drink them all. That's the idea behind it. So there's so many shops opening up.
Yeah, in my office, last year, maybe after September, we couldn't make the business with the new wine shop. Yeah, because for 1 year, we couldn't make the new business because there is so much offer, so much request to work with our company, but we don't have enough wine, and then we don't want to supply our wine to the kind of the very easy small wine shops, but the request is still around. Yeah.
So one of the funny things happening is that you actually have to wait in line to get the wines. So sometimes even if you secure a certain wines, you can only get 5 bottles per shop. So you can't really have a steady listing on your wine menu. So that's been a problem. And then a lot of people actually complain. And then the importers or the distributors, they actually cultivated some relationship with the stores that they sold wines for like years, over like 10 years. But then the new shop owners, they're like, this is so unfair. You need to give me some wines as well. So there has been a lot of fight. There's a lot of tensions going on. So it's kind of there. It's a new trend. So none of us know what to do with it, but that's what's happening in Korea right now. And one of the interesting thing is because they don't really have deep wine knowledge, they can't really explain in details of how to consume the wine in the best condition. So what they do usually is they don't tell the customers what variety this is, what region this wine is from, but they mostly just explain the experience they had on their own. So let's say that the customer walks in and then say that they're going to the beach area for the weekend and then to drink the wine with their friends or family. Then the shop owners would tell them the story of how they drink certain wines by the beach area and then what the wine reminded them of. And then they share such experience, and that actually speaks better to the local consumers because the consumers also don't have that much wine knowledge. And then instead of just talking so much about the grape variety, how the wine is made, the history of the winery, it actually, the description of the wine itself, the wine experience actually speaks to them better. So that's the new trend we've been seeing. So we're going to maybe talk about it in the later session a little bit more, but then the work of the sommelier, the role of the sommelier in Korea is getting a little bit fuzzy right now. And we already kind of talked about it a little bit, but the online wine purchase is not possible in Korea. So there are so many wine shops every corner to make it convenient for the locals. But one of the things many importers, many large companies, they're actually lobbying actively to make the online purchase possible. So they're trying to find many loopholes to make it legal. Because a lot of shops, they also go through somewhat illegal or fuzzy lines to just distribute wine without having them actually visit the store. But this is something in the making. So if that happens, if the online sales made possible, there are going to be so many wine shops going bankrupt. So also the importers, the important job is for them to control the quality or how they keep it in their warehouse because they might have to take it all back later on. So
that's why I stopped the having business there.
So with the newcomers.
Yes.
And one of the interesting things, this is the photos of the wine shops now in Korea. So these places are it really is a supermarket inside the local traditional market. They sell mostly the cooking ingredients, but they also saw that people are going for the wines and then they see that they can they just add a little bit of margin so they can sell it a little bit cheaper. So consumers, they actually go to these places to pick up wines because obviously it's just cheaper.
This is really amazing because actually this is really the supermarket. So but some part of supermarket they rent to the wholesaler, but the wholesaler they hide their sell because wholesaler cannot sell to the private customer. It's they ruin the structure of the market, but they did, and then the price is it's lower than wholesaler price. So normal people like me go there and then buy the Barolo or some. Yeah, it's really cheaper than what I supplied. Yeah, so it's because just the proportion of margin is less than 5%. So I don't know why, but it was super popular because it's so cheap, and then the money is good there, and then it's there still expanding. So you can buy the Lockbit or Crew. You can buy there. Yeah. Also, I bought the group there for my wine bar because it's cheaper than at the wine wholesaler's price. So this is really something weird, but people like this, and then it's not illegal. So
But then do you supply your wines to these places?
no, not at all. So I really check in my eyes, and then I just cut the business with the wholesaler because they ruin the price of the product, and then this is not the right way. But some importers really want to have a business with them, and it's really mixed and a mess. But it's a trend. It's very very trend.
Yeah, and then I hear that a lot of people go online and they share the prices of the wines they see at these markets, and then
they also send the message every day.
Oh yes. What they do is they have a kind of a mailing list, like they send out the group text. So I got there multiple times too, and sometimes if the price is attractive, I call them.
Very much.
Okay. Moving on to talk a little bit more about the natural wine scene in Korea.
Yeah.
So surprisingly, natural wine got super popular in the past 2-3 years, and then a lot of wine experts thought that it'll die down soon, but it's still going pretty strong. Yes. Yeah. Why do you think that is?
Actually, the natural wine is the new wine for the Korean consumer. Still, many people have no experience about any wine. So, and young people try to drink natural wine because it looks very fashionable, and then also in the Instagram, the natural wine has more fashionable label, and some influencer they prefer the natural wine. So it's still growing up, I think. Also the quality of the natural wine. So in the past there was some argument because of some fault or some special smells, but now it's going more balanced, I think, because the producers there they improved, and then also they also refer the consumers the taste. So now the quality is going up, and also in the market is still very good, I think.
Are you enjoying this podcast? There's so much more high-quality wine content available from Mama Jumbo Shrimp. Check out our new wine study maps, our books on Italian wine, including Italian Wine Unplugged, The Jumbo Shrimp Guide to Italian Wine, Sangiovese Lambrusco and Other Stories, and much, much more on our website, mamajumboshrimp.com. Now back to the show.
I think it's okay to say that the natural wine actually contributed a lot in making the wine market in Korea bigger. Because in a way, if you're already a wine lover, you already know what style you like, so you'll just go for what you like. But natural wine actually helped a lot of novice drinkers, or the people who don't have any knowledge in wine, actually start drinking wine, because they would say that Korea used to import a lot of like Chilean Bordeaux wines that are like heavy. big,
powerful.
tanniny. And then apparently they thought they tried it before and then they said that they didn't like it. But natural wine is more juice-like, so it's easier for them to drink it. Yep. So they're like, oh, I like this kind of wine. So they started drinking different styles of natural wine, and that actually led them to drink more of other styles of wine. So that actually contributed a lot in expanding the wine market here. And yeah, we have to talk about the labels when it comes to natural wine, because a lot of people choose wine to give as a gift.
Yeah.
And then what they go for is the pretty labels to look at.
Sure.
Mm-hmm. So, and then there's a rumor that it actually pairs very well with the Korean food, especially the spicy food.
Yeah, because normally the natural wine has high acidity and lower
sugar.
Yeah, sugar, and also lower alcohol. So well matched with Korean food because Korean food is quite spicy and but I think it's talking about the good natural wines because there is also so many just normal natural wine taste is not so good. So it's same as the classic wine. If you drink good classic wine, it's matched very well with the Korean food.
Or maybe the pretty labels make everything taste better.
Maybe.
So we just took out some of the wines with the interesting labels that actually capture the eyes of the local consumers. So these are the screenshots of the Instagram photos from the local shops in Korea.
Yeah.
So this is what they usually do. Whenever there's some, I wouldn't say the serious ones, but instead of just putting all the regions, like something too long in Italian that they don't understand, this is like simpler. Yeah. They can just make their stories out of this label.
Just a picture, yeah. Because in the middle, you know that wine from Sicily is one of the most famous natural wine maker from Sicily, but they don't care about the grape variety. Maybe it's made by Nerlo Mascalese, but they don't care. It's just natural wine, easy, and also this is expensive wine as a natural wine, and then this is the expensive natural wine. That's all. Drink.
Yeah.
Simple.
And we'll move on to people following what their favorite celebrities drink. So one of the things we recently saw is, I don't know if you're familiar with the singer Lee. She's like the 90s K-pop star that's as popular as BTS back in Korea, and that she's still very popular. And then she actually brought a bottle of Italian wine to her friend's place on a reality TV show, and that it got instantly so popular, and all the wine shops, they kept on saying that it's completely sold out, and that everyone's still asking questions whether they can still somehow get it. Yes.
This one. It's one of, not one of, it's the best-selling natural wine, Italian natural wine in South Korea because of her.
Yeah, the singer is in black, and that's another singer in red, and then, And there are other wines that are featured in like a Korean drama. She's also one of the top actors in Korea, and then she was featured just chugging the wine out of the bottle, and then that was from Bordeaux, I believe.
I think.
And then they actually changed the label, so it's not the real label for the wine, but the wine with the same name. It got instantly popular and sold out completely everywhere in Korea.
Yeah.
And then these two, the wine importers of these two wines, they still market it as like the Ihori wine or these actors' wines. And then they still use it as a catchphrase even now. We're moving on to this new trend we've seen in Korea. So you might be very unfamiliar with the concept, like the restaurant or the bars requiring our consumers to order at least a bottle of wine. So if you refuse to do that, they don't seat you. So it has to happen. So even if you say that, I'm pregnant, so I can't drink, there's no exception. Then you can't get served in that restaurant. And then one of the reasons they say they do is to make a steady profit in a way. And also some chefs and restaurateurs that are trained overseas, they say that, this is the culture, what people do in elsewhere, like in Europe or in the United States. But I don't know. I traveled a lot, but I never thought, like, people might look at you funny because you're not drinking at a bar, but then they don't really require the order. Yes. And then another interesting thing is usually the reason why I think that the restaurants do this to make a profit. Is that? And well, they actually told me that. That's the reason. They don't have any wine by the glass. So it has to be the order of a bottle. So it doesn't matter whether you can only do one glass. And they said, oh, you can just take it home then. But then sometimes you just want to have a good meal with just a glass of wine afterward, but that's almost impossible. So a lot of my friends and then other foodies in Korea, they complain that they can't go to anywhere just to have a casual dinner. It's like, yeah, that's one trend.
Actually, very weird trend, but I think it's during the changing period because the Korean culture and also the wine culture is still is mixed, and we are finding a way how to enjoy, how to also find some profit for the restaurants.
So I guess also it used to be not as much now anymore, but certain importers distributed the certain wine that's not imported in a large bulk. They only distribute certain wines only to the restaurant, not to the wine shops.
Yeah, because I also work with many producers, and then some producers, they want to sell their wine in the top restaurant or five-star hotel, for example, Ruchion Sanjone. Yeah, if I sell to the supermarket, the Sanjone barrel might be, Barbara, she will be upset, that kind of things. But the kind of product is really limited production, so I can choose my clients. So in that case, I try to supply to the restaurant, only restaurant, not the wine shop, or just few private classic customers. That's all.
And then this actually takes us back to the thing, like I mentioned that the distributors can only give like up to maybe 3-5 bottles of popular wines to these restaurants. Yeah. So some of the diners, they actually hop different restaurants and they only cherry pick the ones that are popular, that are trendy. So this is why these restaurants want to have all the hot shot wines that are trendy on social media. And then that actually brought these serious drinkers to the restaurants. So it is interesting in a way that it actually educates Korean consumers about this is the so-called normal behavior when you go to the restaurants in Europe. But yeah, this is, I don't know how I feel about it still. I'm a wine drinker. I still feel very funny about it. So a lot of people complain, I hear that, but this is like we're in the transitioning period in a way with the COVID. So this is like something very new and it's something somewhat disturbing. Yeah. And actually such requirements of ordering a bottle at a restaurant, it's interesting because the hottest restaurant trend in Korea right now is so-called pasta bars.
Yeah, it's really strange because they serve only pastas and many pastas, very small portion, and then looks like bar. So there are some pictures. Yeah, this is one of the most famous pasta bar, and then the reservation is really impossible, right?
Yeah, it's like you have to wait like month or two to just dine at a casual restaurant in your neighborhood corner. And then what they do is there's so many requests to make a reservation. So they open the reservation spot like one day, let's say that like December 1st, and then the slots got filled in within like 5 seconds. So it's impossible. Then if you lose that spot, you have to wait another month to try getting to that spot. So it's been really hot on the social media and who has been to these restaurants. So, but one of the good things for the Italian wines is that these places also require ordering of wines. And then since they offer Italian food, so mostly pasta. So most of the times, almost all the time, the selection of wines they carry is all Italian.
Yeah. Right? So this pasta bar is our client, and then the chef, the owner chef, he's really interested in the character of each Italian regions. The wines, some typical wines. So when he serves the ragu with dogs, he looks for some velvet wine because the dog ragu is famous food here, and then that kind of things. So also the very typical Italian wines. They always listed up like Suave or some white wine from Friuli, some Brunello, yeah. And then they try to introduce very various pastas, and then also the many kind of the wines. Yeah, yeah. I think it's very good things.
And then given that most of these restaurants are really tight and small, and then it's a bar scene, so you can actually have a close communication with the chefs or the sommelier there, and then they actually tell you a lot, and then you can, and then if you keep a good relationship, they sometimes just offer more glasses, different glasses of Italian wine. So I think this would be a good way to nav into the minds of the Korean consumers if you are really into spreading more than the Italian wine.
Yeah, this is very interesting because I've never had the 4 or 5 dishes of only pastas, but it works very, very well.
This is another restaurant that serves. So this is supposed to be a casual spot, but how they present it is very like somewhat fancy. Like we said before, Koreans, because they can't really dine often outside anymore. So whenever they get a chance, they want to have a fancy experience as possible, the luxurious ones.
Looks very good. Yeah.
Okay. And the last thing, order wines directly from overseas. So even with the crazy increased number of amount of wines imported to Korea, still some trendy wines not available in Korea.
Yep.
So a lot of people who can manage to place an order overseas, they look for the shops overseas that ships to Korea, and then even like contact the wineries directly.
Yeah, actually, yesterday I also got a mail from my partner who is in Friuli. Yeah, I might be heard about Damian because one of the best French wine in Friuli. So that he talked about the price in the online wine shop. Because in Italy, some online wine shop they deliver to the South Korea in very cheap price. So.
But the funny thing is, it was really trendy last year more so than this year because I think when they see the retail price in Korea, they think that it's too much with everything, the tax. We even have to pay the education tax to buy wines. So when they heard the retail price in Italy, they think that, oh, this is way cheaper, so I'm going to directly purchase from the shops overseas. But they actually went through the process last year, and then they end up knowing all the taxes they have to pay, the customs, and then the shipping costs. So they realized that it's not worth it because it takes like a month for them to actually get the wine, and sometimes it gets broken.
But everybody wants to try once.
Yes. So still, there are people trying, but I think the attention on this, like ordering wine from directly overseas, is a little bit dying down. But it's still going on because, like I said, everyone wants to be the trendsetter in Korea. And then if they want to have a first access to certain wines that are so rare in Korea or not yet imported, they would definitely try everything to get a hold of it. And then especially someone who has a very specific wine taste, they also go for international orders as well. Right. Okay, so we went over all the 5 distinctive trends that we've noticed in the past 2 years since the COVID. And one of the things we think to get to the minds of the customer is using the social media probably. And then one of the things they really like and that they really want to share with their friends is like when they post something of a winemaker and then they always tag their account and then they really like it if the producer or the wine shops or the restaurant reply back and they say something to their post. So they have something to brag about. And then if they actually respond to such posts, that actually inspired them to keep on going back to the same producer's wine. So it actually creates some kind of like good circle in a way.
Some communication directly to the producers and then the final consumers. Just tag the producers and then they also reply. It's really getting common and then many producers do that. I think that's really good thing for their, it's really, really, good way of marketing because that makes the customer happy.
Because who knows, if the travel becomes more readily available, they will actually make that winery as a destination. So, yeah. So this is all we have prepared so far. If you have any questions about the Korean market, please do tell us. Yes.
Actually, overall, the sparkling wine is really increasing because of champagne. Yeah. Also some prosecco maybe, but not that many portions. Actually, I also work with some Franciacorta producers, but it doesn't work very well because of many reasons. The quality is very good, very, very high quality they have, but it's not easy to remember the Franciacorta because champagne has many brands like Moet or Krug. So very strong brands are really works well. But the Italian sparkling has a high quality, but only Prosecco has a brand, just Prosecco, and then the other sparkling wine is really almost impossible to sell. Also in my company, there's many other sparkling wine, but it's not easy yet. I tried, still trying, but made by Chardonnay is really not a good idea. Yeah, or some very special grape. For example, I recently imported the sparkling made by Grillo from Chile, and then it works because it is particular, and then price is good, high quality. Because the Grillo sparkling one never heard the sommelier or it's very new because people like something new, so that kind of things is okay. Yeah, I think.
We actually also talked about the share between the sparkling white wine and red wine in terms of, because the overall amount of imports is increasing. So we were actually wondering if people are drinking more sparkling or white wines. But one of the things I'm expecting, we haven't seen numbers from this yet, but since the sales of the beer actually fell, and then people are going for wine more, so they might try to find more affordable sparkling wine to substitute their beer consumption. So that's one of the ideas that I have. We might see more of that in the coming years, maybe next.
And also the champagne producers, they do marketing very well because they know what young people want. But most of Prosecco looks like just classic Italian wine. But if they try to look more fancier or easier, because just Prosecco is okay, but there is too many words. Sometimes, that's not helpful.
Actually, I'm not sure if you're familiar with the Korean characters. There's a Kakao Talk. It's a messenger program, and then there's another counterpart called Line. And then one of the champagne importers in Korea actually collaborated with that brand. And then that brand is so popular, so a lot of visitors from overseas, they go to that specific store to buy goods, buy the cushions and the pens and everything. And then they actually put the face of the character on the champagne, and that it sold crazy. What was the name of the champagne? I forgot.
I think Moet.
No. There's a Moet and then there's one more. The Moet followed.
Okay.
Oh, it has a yellow label. I forgot.
Actually, the point is the quality is very important, but not only with the quality. For the sparkling wine, you need more. The other red wine, white wine, I can sell with only quality, but the sparkling wine is not.
So that the collaborating with the character was a big hit, and the Moet followed right away to create their own version with the different character.
Okay.
Anything else?
Another question?
Will be available for consumer to buy online and receive the wine at home?
Some is half and half. So right now, the reason why it's restricted is, the government puts out the excuse as like they're trying to protect or encourage the sales of the traditional style of Korean liqueurs, because nobody drinks, like, I don't know if you have heard about the makgeolli or the premium soju. So Korea is trying hard to make the market for such very traditional Korean thing. Like Italy have all these wines, and then like Russia has vodka. So Korea still needs to, I don't think that you would be reminded of any kind of Korean alcohol besides soju, but soju is not premium. So what they're trying to do is that. So right now it's available to buy such options, the traditional options through online. So the system is there. Everybody's gearing up for it. So they think that it's gonna, so a lot of optimists, they think that it's gonna come possible within the next 5 years. So they actually have every system ready. So I actually personally know my friends who's actually trying to find a loophole to make this online purchase possible. So he's working with the wine shops and then already have all the connections. So they have everything ready. They just need the go sign from the government, but the government is very cautious about that. And then another reason they say is it's the underage drinking is another problem. So government is not sure if they have enough safety measures to keep the underage from buying the alcoholic beverages online. So unless they figure something out of that, it's going to take some time, but optimists think that it's going to happen within 5 years. But no one's for sure. Yes. But one of the biggest e-commerce company, Kakao, that I mentioned just now. So Kakao is one of the mobile messengers that most of the Koreans use. So it actually has been working with the company that I just mentioned. So that basically you text message and then there's a shop and then you go in the shop and then you click on purchase and then you can send the wine directly to their friends. So it's possible with the traditional Korean drinks right now. So as long as the government hit yes to that, then it'll become possible, but we think at least 5 years. Yeah.
Hello. I want to know what are the most important exhibition events that there are attending in South Korea, because you have been saying that there are a lot of increase in the wine sector. So I would like to know how an Italian producer can penetrate at the first step your market. So if there are some exhibition, trade fair, something that we can attend to start the first contact with the importer and the final consumer.
That would be a very big question.
Yeah, because finding importers is actually is your job. But it's not easy because 10 company they dominate our wine market, because Korean importers has also distribution as well. Like also some big company has their own supply chain, like a sports store, department store. And actually, you should consider about the size, your size and the size of the importer, because you produce just 100,000 bottles per year. So that means you should find some small importer. Yeah. But if you producers a lot, yeah, you should find some big importer. But that kind of big importer is just few. So, but if you make some very particular in a small quantity, actually you can find easily, because there's a lot of very private importers. And it's also before COVID-19 there was so many wine events, and so if you attend there and then tasting together, that's one of the best way. But the other things is now it's not easy to find an importer, because we couldn't move to each other, not yet. So
I'm no expert in this area.
Mm-hmm.
This is more like yours. But what I've noticed is that sometimes you get connected with your winemaker's friends or friends.
That's very normal, because if I want some new reason, and then I just ask to my partner, so which is the best winery in that region, and then Italian people knows, then they have friends. So that kind of connection is also very what
Especially
I
in
use.
times like this, you can't really physically travel to Italy to taste the wine and then have a communication. So.
Mm-hmm.
Hope that helps. Thanks. Yeah.
So you say that not every wines are available in Korea. There are still some wines that we cannot find. And you talked also about special taste. Is there any wine that does not taste well for Korean market because of the food or because there are wines more complicated to bring in, but more based on the taste, not on the price?
I'm not sure if I get your question right, but one of the things why I guess Korea is not the largest market for the producers in Europe or the US. Because there is Hong Kong, Japan, China, so we're not the country that gets the most bulk when it comes to some premium wines, I think. So that's why we have relatively limited number of wines available in Korea compared to that of Japan. So a lot of consumers in Korea, they know that certain wines are imported here, but sometimes before COVID, they travel to Japan to buy more because there are always wines in stock at the wine shops.
And rosé, I was thinking rosé wines. Or
Actually, it's a matter of the history, the wine market history, because our market is really new. It's just started and just early 2000. Yeah. So it's like my company is just 20 years old company, and it's one of the oldest company. But in Japan or Hong Kong, that has there is a historical market, and they have many experience, and then they try more wines, and then so that's the difference. We are still trying, and we are trying. So also many my friends, they are trying to introduce rosé from Provence or French or Italy, but rosé is very new, but it's still strange for the people. Yeah, that's really strange because it's pink. Oh, yeah, that's the kind of perception.
Like I said before, Korea didn't come from the wine drinking culture. So the images we have seen from movies, books, it used to be always red wines. So even now, many are kind of struggling to say that, like if I go to the restaurant with like a bunch of novice drinkers, they would say that, I definitely want a red wine. Other than red wine, it's not doesn't feel like wine. So they automatically just go for that. And then since Korea is relatively new market, so maybe he said that it started about 20 years, but I think it started really booming in the past 10 years, maybe 5. So we're expecting to see more diversity. But for now, the red wine sells. So more importers are going for the different styles of red wine so far. But now the market is growing. There are some other people who go for natural wine, who go for white wine, who go for sparkling. So we expect to see more diverse styles coming into the market. If the consumers still want it, the importers will have to bring it. So that's what we've seen in the past year with the COVID. Everyone drinks wine, so importers, they just keep on importing more and more. So it really depends on how we educate the consumers. And I think it's also now your job to do it because everyone in Korea is online. They always check what's trendy on social media, Instagram. And then, like I said, they always want to be the trendsetter. So if there's a chance of them becoming the hot star among their friends and their colleagues, they will go for it. So what they see online, they're going to try it. And once they can travel, they're going to actually try it in that country. So what you create online would contribute a lot in changing the consumer behaviors in Korea. And that would actually lead to change the behaviors of the wine importers themselves, I think.
Listen to the Italian Wine Podcast wherever you get your podcasts. We're on SoundCloud, Apple Podcasts, Spotify, Himalaya FM, and more. Don't forget to subscribe and rate the show. If you enjoy listening, please consider donating through ItalianWinePodcast.com. Any amount helps cover equipment, production, and publication costs. Until next time, Chin Chin.